G'day, Justin Hogg from Right Source here, talking governance and company secretaries and how they can help your organization. Now, I spend a lot of time, and you can go and have a look at the videos on YouTube. I spend a lot of time talking about the company secretary and governance and how it can help your not-for-profit. Today, I want to take a little bit of a different approach and talk about the metaphorical company secretary. So what I want to do is give you a couple of examples of how company secretary can work to improve your organization, but do it in a metaphorical approach. So the first aspect is if you think of the company secretary as your personal trainer. Now, for those of you who've had a personal trainer, I've had one, I should probably get one again. The personal trainer allows you to become better, and it's not a fun process. You know, having a personal trainer that you see once or twice or however many times a week, and they are there standing, watching you do not fun stuff necessarily, and quite often pushing you past where you think you could go. I know I've been past and, you know, that verge of not feeling very well working with a personal trainer, or watching them with the stopwatch saying, okay, let's keep it going, or let's beat this time, and always just pushing you that little bit further. And I wouldn't say that I would ever remember having a session with a personal trainer where I went, geez, that was a lot of fun, let's do that again. But in keeping up that commitment and keeping up that effort, after 6 months or a year, you look back and you go, well, I remember what I was like a year ago, and now all of a sudden I'm better. And I can't say that any one point in time that step change happened, but I know through that consistency, I've now become better. That's what a company secretary does for your governance processes in your not-for-profit. So it's about having someone there in your organization working with the board that asks those questions or pushes you that little further in terms of governance and say, can we do better? Is there something else we can do? And though those questions may not often be fun and may not necessarily be exciting, what we'll see over a period of time, and what I've seen with organizations that we work with, is that they look back and they go, we're better than what we were. The other way you can look at a company secretary metaphorically is like a marriage counselor. So whenever there's conflict or frustration between two parties, having that third party in there as an intermediary can quite often help fix the problem. Again, this is something that I've experienced a lot with organizations where, especially the board and management or the CEO, are frustrated with each other. They're not feeling like they're being heard. So what a company secretary allows to happen is they become that short circuit, or that intermediary, the mediation point of view, where they can listen to the CEO, they can listen to the board, and they can help the communication process flow by stopping the two people that are frustrated always talking at each other and being able to talk to someone else and get to that point where they feel like they're heard again. Now, the frustration in a board and a CEO can be very damaging. So I've come into organizations where there's been a long period of frustration. That frustration's turned to anger. It's turned to effectively the board and the CEO being ineffective in working with each other, and the organization starts to become lost. And people aren't happy, no one enjoys what they do, and that then permeates into the culture of the organization and can have massively damaging effects. Bringing a company secretary into that space, what can happen then is the board and the CEO are able to share their frustrations with the company secretary, and the company secretary's role is to hear them and to listen to them and help the communication process heal. That's all it is. And again, this isn't a process that happens overnight. You can't just come in and it's fixed. This takes time, it takes multiple sessions, it takes work to work through these processes. Similarly, again, what you'll find is, when you're working through these processes, that you'll look back on a year gone and you'll go, well, I remember when we were frustrated or we weren't getting the information we needed, and now, look, things may not be perfect, but we believe that there's a communication flow there, that the relationship's healing, and that we're working together better. And when people stop and take stock, they'll go, look, and I'm actually feeling less frustrated and less anxious about coming in and participating. So that's all part of what a company secretary does. It's very hard to measure that day on day, but a good company secretary that's really able to listen and understand relationships can help that process, and that then similarly can have a massively positive impact into the effectiveness of the board, the effectiveness of the CEO, and the overall culture of the organization. So that's two ways to look at company secretaries that have nothing to do with the technical aspect, nothing to do with the personal skills per se of the person. It's really about, do you need a PT for the governance of your organization, or do you need a marriage counselor to help the two parties in the organization get on better and work on their relationship? That's it really for today. It's a bit of an interesting one. If you enjoyed the video, definitely feel free to subscribe. There's some more videos like this, but also some more videos of a more technical nature. So definitely have a look, check them out. Feel free to subscribe. And if you've got any questions on company secretary, governance, or just not-for-profit space generally, feel free to chuck them in the comments below, look me up on LinkedIn, drop me a note. Happy to help out wherever I can. Otherwise, thank you for your time. It's Justin Hogg from RightSource.